I was folding laundry in my bedroom when my phone buzzed. It was my son, Michael. His voice had that strange, overly cheerful tone he used when he wanted something. "Mom, Veronica and I found the perfect place for you. It's an assisted living facility in Daly City. Really nice. We're moving you in next week. Oh, and we need to list the house. You signed the papers last month, remember? The realtor's coming tomorrow to take photos. We'll handle everything. Bye, Mom." Then he hung up. Just like that. 42 years I'd raised him, sacrificed everything, and he was shipping me off like an old piece of furniture he didn't need anymore. My name is Margaret Chen. I'm 68 years old, and until that phone call, I thought I still knew my son. It had been 13 months since my husband Henry passed. Pancreatic cancer took him in 6 weeks. One day we were planning our retirement travels, the next I was picking out his casket. We'd been married for 43 years. He was my high school sweetheart, the boy who walked me home from the library every Thursday, who proposed with a ring he'd saved 8 months to buy. After the funeral, Michael and his wife Veronica started coming around more. At first, I thought it was grief, bringing us closer. Michael would stop by twice a week, help me with the yard work, fix little things around the house. Veronica brought casseroles and smiled sweetly. "Mom, you shouldn't be alone so much," she'd say, squeezing my hand. "It's not healthy for someone your age." Someone my age, as if 68 meant I had one foot in the grave. They'd been especially helpful when I mentioned feeling overwhelmed by paperwork. Henry had always handled the finances. "Mom, let me take care of this," Michael insisted. "You've got enough to worry about." He brought me documents to sign. "Legal things," he said, making everything easier to manage. I was grieving, exhausted, and I signed them. Power of attorney papers, though I didn't realize it then. The house they wanted to sell wasn't just any house. It was the 3-bedroom Victorian in Sunset District, where Henry and I had raised Michael, where every room held 40 years of memories. The backyard where Michael learned to ride his bike. The kitchen where I'd taught him to make dumplings every Chinese New Year. The living room where Henry had held me the night we lost our second pregnancy, whispering that we were blessed with the one we had. And it wasn't just the house. That afternoon, I'd received an email from Jessica, my manager at the nail salons. 3 locations in the Bay Area, businesses I'd built from nothing over 25 years. The email said Michael had contacted her about transitioning ownership and closing operations. My salons. My life's work. I sat there on the bed, holding my phone, and something cold settled in my chest. Not panic, not fear. Clarity. I walked to my closet and pulled down a shoebox from the top shelf. Inside were letters. Henry had written them during his final weeks, when he knew he was dying, but I was still in denial. "Don't read these until you're ready," he'd said. "But when you need me, I'll be there." I'd read the first one after the funeral. It was full of love, memories, reassurance. But there was a second letter I hadn't opened yet. The envelope said, "When you face a crisis." My hands trembled as I opened it. "My dearest Margaret," it began in Henry's careful handwriting. "If you're reading this, something has gone wrong. I suspect it involves Michael. I've seen warning signs these past years. The way Veronica looks at our success with hungry eyes. The way our son has become someone we don't quite recognize. I've taken precautions, checked the safe deposit box at Wells Fargo, number Bay Chambon Muy Ba. The key is in my toolbox, taped inside the bottom drawer. Trust Mr. Huang, he knows everything. And remember, my love, being kind doesn't mean being weak. Sometimes the greatest love is letting people face the consequences of their choices. I'll always be with you, Henry." I found the key exactly where he said. The next morning, I went to the bank. Inside the safe deposit box were documents that made my breath catch. Henry hadn't just left me the salons, he'd structured everything in a complex trust. The house, the salons, our savings, even the mountain cabin at Lake Tahoe I'd inherited from my parents. All protected. The power of attorney Michael had tricked me into signing. It was worthless for any of these assets. Henry had made sure of that. There were also bank statements showing accounts I didn't know existed. Henry had been investing quietly for decades. We weren't just comfortable, we were wealthy. And there was one more document. A detailed letter from Mr. Huang, Henry's college roommate and now a prominent attorney. It explained everything Henry had set up, including a contingency plan if Michael ever tried what he was trying now. I sat in that small bank room, surrounded by evidence of my husband's foresight and love, and I made a decision. I wasn't going to stop Michael. Not yet. I was going to let him show me exactly who he'd become. That evening, Michael and Veronica came for dinner. I made pot roast, Michael's favorite. I played the part of the confused, grieving widow perfectly. "Oh, honey, I'm so glad you're handling everything," I said, my voice wavering just right. "I don't understand any of these legal things." Veronica's smile was radiant. Too radiant. "Don't you worry, Mom. We're taking such good care of you." Over dessert, Michael casually mentioned they'd need me to sign a few more papers. "Just formalities," he said. "Documents to close the salon accounts, transfer the deed on the house." I nodded along, asked innocent questions, and watched Veronica's eyes glitter with anticipation. After they left, I called Mr. Huang. "It's time," I said. "Are you sure, Margaret? Once we start this, there's no going back." "I'm sure. I need to know if my son can still be saved, or if I've already lost him." The next week, I played my part flawlessly. I visited the assisted living facility they'd chosen. It was actually nice, but it wasn't home, and I hadn't chosen it. I smiled and nodded while the director showed me around. "It's lovely," I said softly, "if this is what Michael thinks is best." Meanwhile, Mr. Huang was working behind the scenes. The house sale? The property wasn't actually in my name alone anymore, it was in the trust. The papers Michael had were worthless. The salons, also trust protected. Every document I'd signed for Michael was legitimate looking, but legally meaningless for any actual assets. But I wanted to know why. Why was Michael doing this? So I did something I'm not proud of. I asked my 16-year-old granddaughter Sarah to do some detective work. Sarah adored me. She'd spent every summer at my house since she was born, learning to bake, helping at the salons, talking about everything. She was smart, observant, and she'd noticed things about her mother that bothered her. "Grandma," she said, when she came over one afternoon while her parents were out. "Mom's in trouble. Big trouble." She showed me what she'd found on Veronica's laptop. Casino statements, credit card debt, numchum heimlich bei, home-in gambling debt. Veronica had been hiding it for 2 years, and now the casino was threatening legal action. Michael didn't have that kind of money. But I did. Or rather, they thought I did, and they thought they could access it. The salons weren't just being closed. Michael had already used them as collateral for a loan that Veronica had taken out, forging documents, planning to pay off the casino, then disappear. She was planning to leave Michael too. Sarah had found emails between Veronica and someone named Marcus. "Once we're clear, we're gone," one said. I felt sick. My son wasn't just greedy. He was being used, betrayed, and was too blind to see it. And instead of coming to me for help, he'd decided to rob me. That night, I couldn't sleep. I walked through my house, touching the walls Henry had painted, the furniture we'd chosen together. I thought about the little boy who'd climbed into our bed during thunderstorms, who'd cried when his goldfish died, who'd held my hand at his father's funeral with tears streaming down his face. Where had I gone wrong? Or had I not gone wrong at all? Had I just loved him so much I'd failed to prepare him for a world that demanded strength, not just kindness? The next morning, I made another call to Mr. Huang. "I want everything transferred to Sarah's trust, today. And I want to be ready when this all falls apart." "Margaret, are you sure?" "That's everything. Your security." "Sarah's my security now. Michael made his choice. I'm making mine." 2 weeks later, the house was officially sold. At least, that's what Michael and Veronica thought. They'd found a buyer, rushed through what they believed was a legitimate sale, and received a large deposit. That money went straight into an account they'd set up. The salons were closed, final paperwork filed, employees told they'd receive severance, and I was moved into the assisted living facility. Michael and Veronica helped me pack, all smiles and reassurance. "You're going to love it, Mom," Michael said. "You'll make so many friends." I watched them load my belongings into their car, taking boxes I knew they'd never deliver to Daly City. Those boxes contained things they thought were valuable. What they didn't know was that everything truly valuable had already been moved by Mr. Huang's team weeks ago. Sarah hugged me tight before I left. "Grandma, I'm scared," she whispered. "Don't be, sweetheart. Sometimes we have to let people fall so they can learn to stand back up. I love your father. This is how I show it." I spent 3 weeks at that facility. It was actually restful. I made friends, joined a book club, enjoyed not cooking. Meanwhile, Michael and Veronica were celebrating. Sarah told me they'd taken a vacation to Vegas. Veronica was paying off her debts. They were planning their future. Then it all came crashing down. The house sale fell through. The buyers discovered the deed was fraudulent. The deposit was frozen, then seized as evidence. The salons hadn't actually closed. They'd simply changed management. And all those accounts Michael thought he could access? Empty or non-existent. Michael called me, panicking. "Mom, something's wrong. The house sale, it's not going through. The lawyers are saying fraud. I don't understand. You signed everything." "I know, honey. I signed what you gave me." "What does that mean?" "Mom, I need you to fix this. I need you to call the title company and explain." "Explain what, Michael?" There was a long silence. "Mom, please, we need this money." "Why?" Another pause. "What? Why do you need this money, Michael? Tell me the truth." I could hear him breathing, hear Veronica's voice in the background, sharp and angry. "I can't, Mom. Just, please, help us. Come see me tomorrow, both of you." It's time we had a real conversation. They arrived at noon the next day. Michael looked terrible, unshaven, exhausted. Veronica looked furious, her mask completely gone. We sat in the facility's garden, surrounded by roses and the murmur of other residents. "The house isn't yours to sell," I said calmly. "It never was. Neither were the salons. Your father made sure of that." Michael's face went pale. "What are you talking about?" I explained everything. The trust, the power of attorney that meant nothing, how I'd known for weeks what they were trying to do. "Your father saw this coming, Michael. He tried to protect me. From you." "Mom, no, you don't understand. I understand your wife has over $500,000 in gambling debt. I understand you used my businesses as collateral without permission. I understand she's planning to leave you once this is resolved. Should I go on?" Veronica stood up abruptly. "You can't prove any of that." "Actually, I can. The police are quite interested in the forged documents you created. Identity theft, fraud, elder abuse. These are serious charges, Veronica." Her face twisted with rage. "You bitter old woman. You're just mad because your son finally chose his wife over his mommy." "Sit down, Veronica." The command in my voice surprised even me. "Michael, your father left you a letter too. I have it. Would you like to know what it says?" My son was crying now, silent tears rolling down his face. "Mom, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't know what else to do. You could have asked me for help. You could have been honest. Instead, you tried to steal from me. You tried to put me away so you could take everything I built, everything your father and I worked for." "I know. I know." Veronica said she promised if we could just get enough money. "She lied to you, son. She's been lying all along." That's when Veronica made her mistake. She lunged at me, hand raised. But Mr. Huang had prepared for this too. Security was already moving, and more importantly, everything was being recorded. Veronica was arrested that afternoon. Fraud, attempted assault, identity theft. The evidence was overwhelming. Michael wasn't charged, Mr. Profis. Huang and I made sure of that, but he lost everything. The house he'd been renting was foreclosed. His car was repossessed. Veronica's lawyer made it clear she was going to prison, and their marriage was over. 3 days later, Michael came back to see me. Alone. He looked broken. "Mom, I don't know what to do." I took his hand. My son's hand, still familiar after all these years. "You have 2 choices, Michael. You can walk away. I'll give you $10,000 and we'll never speak again. Or you can stay. You can accept help, real help. Therapy, working your way back. earning trust, not demanding it. It won't be easy. It might take years. And I won't give you money or property or anything else until you've proven you understand why this happened. What about Sarah? Sarah will inherit everything when I'm gone. She's earned it. If you want to be part of her life, you'll have to earn that too. He sat there for a long time, staring at our joined hands. I don't deserve your help. No, you don't. I'm offering it anyway. That's what mothers do. But I'm not offering you an easy path, Michael. I'm offering you a chance to become the man your father hoped you'd be. I want to try. Mom, I want to try. That was 6 months ago. Michael is living in a studio apartment in Oakland, working as a janitor at a hospital. He attends therapy twice a week. Once a month, Sarah and I have coffee with him. The conversations are awkward, painful sometimes, but they're honest. He's not coming back to the salons. Maybe not ever. That's Sarah's future now, if she wants it. The house in Sunset will be hers too. Michael is building something different, something that's actually his. Last week, he called me on what would have been Henry's 70th birthday. Mom, I went to Dad's grave today. I told him I was sorry. I told him I was trying. I know, honey. He knows too. Do you think he'd be proud of me? Eventually? I looked out my window at the garden where I now spend my mornings. I'd moved back home, but I'd kept some of the friends I'd made at that facility. I'd kept some of the peace, too. I think he'd be proud that you're trying. That's all any of us can do, Michael. Try to be better than we were yesterday. After we hung up, I opened the last letter Henry had left me, the one marked, "When it's over." My darling Margaret, it read, "If you're reading this, you've survived whatever crisis came. You've made the hard choice. I always knew you had that strength, even when you doubted yourself. Love is not always soft. Sometimes it's steel. Sometimes it's letting someone fall so they can learn to catch themselves. You did the right thing. You always do. Our son will find his way or he won't, but that's his choice to make. You gave him life. You gave him love. You gave him truth. The rest is up to him. I love you forever, in this life and whatever comes next. Your Henry." I folded the letter carefully and put it back in its envelope. Outside, Sarah was pulling into the driveway. She'd brought lunch, like she did every Saturday. My granddaughter, brilliant and kind and strong in ways Michael had never learned to be. "Grandma!" she called out, letting herself in with her key. "I brought pho from that place you love." I went to meet her, my heart full of a complicated mixture of grief and hope. I'd lost the son I thought I had, but I'd found the strength to help him become who he could still be. And I'd found that sometimes the best inheritance we can leave isn't money or property. It's the truth. Even when the truth breaks your heart, even when it breaks theirs. That's what love looks like when it grows up.